Hey folks, it's John with KGTropicals.com, bringing you a brand new series of videos called The Ultimate Guide to Your First Aquarium. If you're thinking about getting a fish tank, but you're not quite sure how everything goes, this is going to be the series for you. We're going to cover everything you need to know about setting up your first aquarium. Now, if you're an experienced fish keeper, don't go running away. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of things in this series for you too, so everybody's going to want to make sure you subscribe to this channel so you do not miss an episode. So let's get right into episode 1. In this episode, we're going to cover the 5 most important things that you need to know before you ever even spend a dime on any equipment or any fish. So let's get right into the first one. The first thing we're going to talk about is the fact that fish keeping is extremely addictive. And once this bug grabs a hold of you, you really can't stop it. You're going to get into this and you have your great little fish tank set up, and then you're going to go to the pet store and you're going to see another fish that you just have to have. But the guy at the store tells you, that fish can't go with the fish that you already have, but you have to have it. So you end up buying another tank. And then you're watching YouTube videos one day and you see a beautiful planted aquarium. And you say, well, I have to have a planted tank now, but the fish that I have, they're going to eat the plants or they're going to destroy the plants. So I'm going to set up a third tank so I can have my planted tank. And then the fish that you've had for a long time, they decide to spawn in the tank, and now the tank's full of babies. What are you going to do? You got to have somewhere to put the babies. So another tank. And you end up being one of these people, like me, that has aquariums everywhere. This is why you see all over YouTube, most people that are doing videos about fish tanks, they don't just have one. You're going to see a whole bunch of them. So watch out, because when this thing gets you, it hits hard. The next thing to talk about is the fact that fish keeping is expensive. There's a lot of YouTube channels out there that'll show you how to do some of these things on the cheap, and you can always find deals at $1 a gallon sales or Craigslist, but understand that if you're going to get serious about this hobby, you're going to end up spending some money. The next thing is the fact that fish keeping requires work. This isn't a deal where you just go to the pet store, pick up a tank, bring it home, set it up, kick back, and enjoy it. It doesn't work that way. To get the tank that you ultimately want is going to require work. And to keep it looking that way is going to require work. So understand that you're going to be busy with this hobby. But I'll tell you this, just about any fish keeper that you talk to would tell you that the maintenance and the work involved is part of the fun. So don't let it scare you. The next thing is the fact that this hobby can be a bit overwhelming at first. You think the concept is simple. You go and buy a fish, you put it in the tank, and your job is done. But when you really start to dig deep into it and realize all of the different options that are out there for tanks, filters, lights, lids, stands, food, filters, all this stuff, your head can explode. But here's the good news. My number 5 reason is the reason why the overwhelming nature of this hobby is something you shouldn't have to worry about. And the last thing on my top 5 things you need to know before you start in this hobby is piggybacking on top of number 4, and that is that there is a huge community surrounding this hobby. Whether it be online, whether it be through local aquarium clubs, there is tons of information out there about this hobby. I don't know how many thousands of YouTube channels, hundreds of thousands of videos, websites, forums, you name it, it's all out there. So the beautiful thing about this hobby is the fact that the day you walk into it, you're never going to be alone. You have a device in your pocket that you can have access to whatever information that you need to know about this hobby. And it's not hard to find. When I started keeping fish back in 1993, you were on your own. You had to figure things out through trial and error, and that usually resulted in the death of a lot of fish. So the fact that this hobby has such a huge community around it is something that is not only nice to get information, but it's also fun because you get to meet a lot of really cool people. And there you have it, my top 5 things that you need to know before entering into this hobby. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, why don't you click that like button down below, or maybe even share this video with your friends. It really does help us out a lot. Next week, we're going to talk all about selecting your first fish. So you're not going to want to miss that episode. You're going to want to click that little red subscribe button right there to make sure you get a notification when that video comes out. If you want to see more videos that I've done on fish keeping, you can click right here for a video I did on Fish Keeping 101, and that's actually part 1 of a series, or you can click right here for my top 5 myths in fish keeping. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I look forward to talking to you again next week.